ITBC, what's the deal? I'm gonna leave this article in the description box. Like always, you click on the article, you read it, come to your own surmise, all right? Now, this rematch is happening July 9th. I cannot wait for this fight because this is going to tell us a lot about these two gentlemen. Not so much as far as Klitschko and his legacy goes, but as far as just where he fits in today's climate. And I say that because not so long ago, man, probably a year and a half ago, this was a Klitschko dominated division. So, and it's been like that for the last 10 years. But this article is on Sky Sports, and I will leave it in the description box, like I said. But Vlad loves challenger status, okay? I'm going to go ahead and read some quotes from this article, and I'm going to give my opinion about it, all right? He goes on to say, I want to show to myself and to my fans that I can become champion again and can solve the challenge positively with a positive end for me. All right. I never had a doubt before I made the decision and executed the option on the contract of a rematch. As a matter of fact, I'm very happy about it. I'm enjoying the stage and enjoying being an athlete. I know it's not going to last forever, but at the current stage, I do love what I'm doing, and I do like where I'm at right now as a challenger. He added, it's simple. I was not present. My body was present, but I was not present in the ring. I didn't let my hands go. Through the years, the attitude of defending titles is different from conquering the man that stands in front of you. The attitude changed after I lost. I'm happier I have a chance to make it straight and bounce back. I feel free. I do feel less pressure and just reloaded. It will be a boxing match that will be so enjoyable for the fans, for me as well. I will knock Tyson Fury out. All right. Now, before I get to my opinion on this, I was looking at the bet odds, man, and I know when this fight first opened up, and Klitschko said he's going to go ahead with his rematch, and he wanted to exercise the rematch clause. He opened up as a slight favorite, a minus 125. So that's he's a slight favorite. It's a far cry from the minus 500. He was a 5-1 favorite going into that fight, the first fight. Then when the venue was announced on April 8th, it went to an even fight. Both guys are set at a minus 115. So as of right now, then I checked some odds as of today, and it's still at a minus 115. So Fury, although he did beat Klitschko and he won majority of those rounds, decisive but sloppy fight, if that's a good way to word it. That's what I thought it was. Decisive but sloppy win for Fury. When I hear Klitschko say, and first let me say this, he's 40 years old. I understand that, anything can happen. A lot of people like to say how great Klitschko has looked in rematches. And I always say, well, a lot of those guys, Bird and Brewster and Sam Peter and Thompson, some of those guys, man, he was fighting them 3-4 years in between. It was 3-4 years in between some of those rematches. He got better. A lot of those guys just got older and they were declining. When he was getting better, he was getting into his groove. None of those guys were 6'9", 250 some odd pounds that was bigger than Wladimir. None of those guys were, 26 years old, 27 years old. Forget how old Tyson Fury is right now. I think he's 26, 27. None of those guys were in the prime of their career when he did that rematch. Wladimir wasn't 40 years old when he did the rematch. So it's different dynamics, although I do understand when people say Wladimir performs better in rematches. Okay, fair enough. All right, but when I hear him say things like, I just need to let my hands go and I'm going to knock him out, it's possible. The Kurbet pull-off fight, Wladimir looked damn good in that fight, to pull that fight. He was bouncy on his toes. He was leaping in with some left hooks. He was throwing that right hand. I mean, when he's bouncy, and I don't mean, hopping around the ring like he's Ali or Holmes. I shouldn't say hopping, but I'm not saying gliding around the ring like those fellas, Chris Bird or something like that. But I'm talking about more of just you know, there's like a little pep in his step. There's some bounce. You know, his knees are bending. He's not standing straight up and leaning in. You know, so do I think that he can knock Fury out? Of course, especially at the heavyweight division. I mean, Wladimir Klitschko punches very hard. That left hook and that straight right hand, you know. But, and I said this in my post-fight Brian Jennings fight that I thought he was on a decline. Although he won that fight, my post-fight video, I was like, man, because I thought Klitschko was going to go to MSG. I thought he was going to knock Jennings out, and I have a lot of respect for Jennings. I thought that was going to be a possible ending of that fight. And it didn't happen. We know that. So, and after that fight, I said, man, you know what? Vladimir's starting to look a little bit haggard. He's been on top for a very long time. I think this may be the end of his reign. And then he fought Fury, and I picked him to win that fight. I thought he'd win by decision, and it didn't happen. But I know mentally his mind is saying, oh, I just got to go in there and just let my hands go. But to me, he's become so accustomed of this style that he fights in. Like I said, the Pulev fight, he was bound to, you know, even when he fought, let's say, a guy like Chambers, it took him late into that fight, like the last round, to knock Chambers out after getting a scolding from, rest in peace, Emmanuel Stewart. This is just the dynamics are just so different in this fight, man. I just don't see how he's going to be able to just turn on the light switch and say, okay, I just need to just throw my hands more. I mean, you know, you needed to throw your hands more by round, I don't know, 4 of the first fight. Fury, unless he comes in and just fights a totally different fight, but he's going to fight how he's always been fighting. It's going to be very awkward. He's going to be, you know, herky-jerky. He's going to be leaning over, you know, probably stick out his tongue at Wladimir, walk away from him, circle to the left, circle to the right, throw a jab, reach in, hold him, push him, play to the crowd. If Wladimir comes in there and just says, you know what, I'm about to just, you know, bite down on my mouthpiece and I'm going to just let my hands go. If I get knocked out doing this, then, hey, the ride's over with. I tried. You know, his reign isn't going to be overlooked. It's still going to go down, you know, in history. You know, you're not going to forget Wladimir Klitschko and what he did, but I'm just not sure he can just turn on the light switch and just turn into this aggressive fighter from round one. Now, maybe him being coming in the fight as a contender or the challenger, rather, maybe that will give him some motivation. Maybe that will give him the mindset of, you know what, I'm just going to go for broke. But my thing is just, I don't think you just turn the light switch on and just come in there as a different fighter. Now, some of you may give me some examples. Okay, fair enough. I'm not saying it's never happened in the history of boxing, but I just don't think you just, you know, for Wladimir, you know, he's just been so comfortable at winning fights the way he's been winning them. I just don't see him coming in there and letting his hands go more. What does that mean? Tyson Fury's not going to be standing there and say, okay, hey, here I go. Let your hand go more. You know, let your hands go. I don't know, man. But even with that said, even, you know, with what I think may happen, I still don't know. I mean, even the betting line it's an even fight. I really don't know. Because like I said, it's not like Fury went in there and just put the beat down on him. He was just winning the rounds and decisively winning the rounds the way he was fighting. It wasn't a beat down with, you know, it wasn't like Wladimir was just getting beat from pillar to post and knocked down multiple times. No, he just got outboxed the way Tyson Fury was outboxing him. I don't think Tyson Fury's awkwardness is going to change. He may switch from righty to lefty. It's just, to me, it's just, I believe at this stage of Vladimir's career, maybe it could be too much to deal with for him right now. Right now, maybe 6 years ago, he probably would have been able to deal with Fury a lot better than he did in that first fight. But I could be totally wrong, man. This is just my guess. You know, I mean, hell, I picked Wladimir Klitschko to win the first fight. So it's not like I'm sitting here, not giving this guy credit or props. No, I picked him to beat Fury the first time. I just thought he was the better fighter. And I picked Klitschko to win every other damn fight that he's had since he's been on his, or when he had those 18 successful title defenses. His toughest challenger was a guy I knew that he would never fight, his brother. So I've always had faith in, as far as picking him to win his fights. But everything comes to an end, This isn't going to go on forever. And sometimes champions, they don't get to just gracefully bow out and say, you know what, here goes the title, I'm going to just walk away. Lennox Lewis did it. And some can argue the fight, it shouldn't have been stopped. They should have let Vitaly fight on. He was winning the fight, so on and so forth. Okay, cool. That's cool. But Lennox did it. He gracefully bowed out, right, with the title. It doesn't work like that sometimes, man. Sometimes when there's a new era, some guys get knocked the hell out. Some guys get beat by decision a few times in a row. When Spinks took the title from Holmes, whether you thought Holmes won the first fight or the second fight or both fights, whatever, Spinks got the titles, and that set it up for Mike Tyson to come in and with his new era. And then just to make sure it was his era, Holmes came out of retirement and, Tyson beat Holmes to really cement the new era. And then so on and so forth. We know Buster Douglas, Holyfield, Bo, so on and so forth. So maybe this is that type of situation where, let's say Fury goes in there and they fight the same type of fight where it's not, an offensive type of fight. It's more of the same. It's round 13 instead of round 1 of a new fight. It's round 13, right? I don't think losing to Fury again, the way he did the first time, would necessarily push Wladimir out of the picture as far as fighting the other heavyweights. But I do think it will give us a telltale sign that his reign's over with. Because even if he goes on and let's say Klitschko can beat Ortiz and he can beat Wilder and he can beat Povetkin in a rematch, or he can beat Anthony Joshua, or he can beat whoever else. If you can't beat Tyson Fury, your era is over with as far as being champion. And that's what I think Wladimir wants to do. I don't think he wants to just stick around and be a top 10 heavyweight. I think he's in this to be the man. So just my opinion, I could be totally wrong. But I think if he loses this fight, I think he may give it up. Now, I haven't seen anywhere of him saying if he loses this fight, this is it for him. I haven't seen that. If you guys have seen it, please let me know in the comments section. But I'm sure I'll hear of it as this fight approaches, because the media, the build-up, everything's going to start picking up here in these next couple of weeks. But I think Klitschko's in this to be the man. I don't think he's in this to be a top 5 heavyweight. You don't go from having 18 successful title defenses as the man and then say, you know what, I'm just comfortable being the top 5 guy. Now, I think Wladimir wants to be the best. And if he is the best, I don't think he really wants to stick around at this point for what? But who knows? Maybe, if he was to take a loss, he'll, want to fight back home and get one last fight at home. I don't know. Now I'm speculating and just guessing, but just wanted to do a quick video on this, man. This fight's approaching. I'm getting very excited for this one. Tyson Fury versus Wladimir Klitschko. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the first one, man, but me being a big heavyweight fan, and this is for the title. This is for the lineal championship. This is for the title. And I can't wait for it to go down. YTBC. I'm out.